Okay, so in this video, we're gonna go through changing the oil in a truck, semi-truck. I'm gonna start the video by saying we do have multiple different style trucks on the farm. So this is gonna be just a generalization. Every truck will be a little bit different. You start changing the oil, the first thing you wanna do is drain the oil. Now the drain plug is always on the bottom of the drain pan for the engine. After you drain the oil, then you can move on to your filters. We got 2 fuel filters on this truck, and we have 3 oil filters, 1, 2, and then there's a canister filter in that one. You do not have to fill the oil filters up with oil, but you do have to fill your 2 fuel filters up before you put them back on the truck. And we also have a coolant filter on this truck. We don't change that every oil change, about every other. When you install the new filters, you always want to write the mileage that you installed the filter on and the date that you installed the filter. You can see it's on those 2, it's on that filter, and we have it on the oil filter as well. Also, we always put a sticker in the windshield of every truck, tractor, everything on the farm. In this truck, they're typically up in the corners like that. And then that sticker you want to put the next oil change, when it's due next. So while you're changing the oil, you just want to check your coolant level as well. This truck has a reservoir. Some trucks don't have this. Some of them just have a cap on top of the radiator. Also, when you change the engine oil, you always want to change your air filter too. This one on this truck is located right here. Some of them have a canister on the side. Like I said, every truck's a little different. They have a little nuance to them, but you always want to change the air filter as well. So when you change the oil, you need to fill the motor back up with engine oil. In our shop over here, they have air pumps on them. So this is where you turn the air for the oil on. And then right over here, we have our oil tanks. Clearly labeled, engine oil green, hydraulic oil yellow. So that's where you get your oil. So after you change the oil, you got to discard of the oil. Now we have the oil dumping station right here. Just dump your oil out of the bucket right into there. Drain your filters. You can set them over here as well. Now we don't have a maid on the farm, so you want to clean up after yourself. You want to put things back because nobody else is going to do it for you. All right, so when we talk about greasing the truck, there's a lot of different grease fittings on the truck. You just got to know where to look for them. So you got this U-joint here for your steering. You got that guy right there. That one's an easy one to miss. You got ones on your ball joints right there. Got another one there. You also have 2 here for your brakes. Then you have your kingpins. I think they're on the other side. But when you grease these down here, there's one on the bottom, there's one on top. When you grease them, you want to jack the front end of the truck up to take the pressure off of those pins before you grease them. All right, so for your kingpins, you got that fitting down there. For your bottom one, then you have one on top. Right there. So when you grease these kingpins, you want to make sure you jack the front of the truck up. That allows the pressure to be released off of those pins. And it allows the grease to get around that pin. You grease it properly. Also, this truck doesn't have it, but some of these trucks on the spring shackles, they have fittings where they pivot. When you grease those, you want to make sure you're jacking up the frame of the truck, not the axle, the frame. That way you take the pressure off of those when you grease those. Now on the springs, you'll have your pivot points. You got some on the front, and then you have some on the back. All right, underneath the truck here, we got the transmission. So you got a throwout bearing up in this hole on the bottom. Go ahead and push it in. Right out there. Okay. And then you also have one on each side of the transmission. You got one there. Oh, it's right here. And then you got one right there. Now you have your U-joints on your drive shaft. I think there's 3 U-joints on this truck, 4. Every U-joint will have 2 grease fittings on it. One there, and then there's one on the opposite side. You gotta make sure you grease both of them, so you grease the entire U-joint. You also have grease fittings for your brakes, S-cam fitting. That one right there. Then you go over here to your slack adjuster. Got a fitting right there. And the same on both sides for every brake. Also, when you grease those, you want to make sure the pins, you want to get a pair of pliers and some lube. You want to make sure these pins are free. Make sure they spin in those holes freely. Lube them up, get them loosened up. All right, now you got your fifth wheel, which is where the trailer hooks to. It's this flat plate here. You want to grease the fifth wheel on top with the trailer unhooked. Also on the fifth wheel, they have fittings right there. There's one on the front side too. You want to make sure you're greasing those. On the trailer, we'll start the front here. These dump trailers have cylinders in them. Flip that flap up. And on the top there is a grease fitting in there on that top pin. And there's also one down at the bottom, down there. To grease that one, you have to raise the trailer up. Moving to the back of the trailer, you got a grease fitting on your jacks here. So at the back of the trailer, you got your main cross pin here. And fitting on the bottom. And then you have your air latch up here. You got fitting air, fitting air. Some of them have fittings up in that hole there. And some of them have fittings on the latch in the back. You got your safety locks. They also have grease fittings on them. Now the trailer brakes, about the same as the truck. You got the S-cam. Got your slack adjuster. It's down here on the bottom. S-cam. You got another grease fitting on the S-cam in there.